Despite being a massive nerd, I've never really delved into manga or anime that much. Now and again, the odd series piques my interest, like Death Note or The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, but I usually stick to Western media. So I knew absolutely nothing about One Piece before I started watching the Netflix adaptation, and now I definitely want to see more. It's a pirate story, but not one that has anything to do with the historical realities of piracy, like Our Flag Meets Death or the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. This is more like the Monkey Island video games, a purely fantastical world full of islands and the pirate ships that sail between them. The backstory is that a legendary pirate has hidden a massive treasure somewhere, and everyone is trying to find it, but so far that seems to be just a MacGuffin to kick off the adventures. I'm guessing it won't be really important until towards the end of the story when they get closer to finding it. The hero of the story is Monkey D. Luffy, who everybody calls Luffy, so I assume that Monkey is his surname. He has a rubber skin that he got from eating a magic fruit that makes him invulnerable to most injuries. But apart from that, he has no real skills or training, and he sets out to assemble a pirate crew through sheer force of will. Iñaki Godoy's performance is very impressive for such a young actor. He's hugely charismatic, and you can definitely see why people would follow him based on nothing but trust. Also in the crew is Emily Rudd as Nami, the only regular female character in the cast, which is a bit disappointing. There are a few guest actresses, but otherwise it's a very male-dominated show. Hopefully that will change in future seasons. Nami starts off as kind of aloof and mysterious, but she becomes a lot more three-dimensional when a backstory is revealed in the final two-part story. Then we have Zoro, who is played by somebody whose name is apparently Makenyu. Okay. He's the ace sword fighter of the group, using 3 swords instead of 1, and provides many of the best action scenes. But his character also turned out to be pretty funny as well. His complete lack of any sense of direction is a really subtle running gag. Rounding up the crew, there's Jacob Romero Gibson as Usopp, who brags about being a great pirate but is in reality a total coward, and Taz Scarler as Sanji, the cook who does all his fighting with his legs. All these characters are rounded out with flashbacks to their childhoods, which definitely helps them feel a lot more three-dimensional. The 8 episodes of the show roughly cover 4 2-episode arcs. At the start, Luffy, Zoro and Nami come together to steal a map to the mysterious Grand Line from the Marines, who are apparently the only force of law and order in this world. This sets up the dynamic where the Marine ship is on their trail for the entire season, which provides a good ongoing threat on top of all the other dangers. Following this, there's a 2-parter set in a country house of all places, as the crew help Usopp save his sweetheart Kaya from another gang of pirates. It's an odd change of pace, but it works a treat, and shows there's an almost unlimited number of stories you can tell in this framework. Plus the episode before that was set in a circus, I should have mentioned that before. Episodes 5 and 6 are set on and around a floating restaurant, where we meet Sanji and his mentor Chef Zeph, who used to be in EastEnders and probably can't believe his luck. The normally light-hearted tone takes a turn here, as Zoro gets seriously injured, and the crew has to face the prospect of losing him, which really helps to bond them as a group. Then the final 2-parter takes them to Nami's home village, with the confrontation with all of the bad guys who've been in the background so far. Speaking of which, there are some excellent villains in this show. Jeff Ward gives a wonderful performance as Boogie the Clown, who is by turns menacing and hilarious. Vincent Regan as Garp is the admiral who chases after Luffy for the entire series. Their final confrontation does not end as you might expect, but it's still somewhat satisfying. And McKinley Belcher III, another great name, gets to play Arlong the Fishman. His performance more than lives up to his terrifying appearance, and he gives it his all. The look of the show is hugely impressive. They clearly spent a fortune on building massive sets and filming at sea, rather than using CGI and virtual sets like other shows do. Its anime roots can be seen in surreal touches, such as all the characters having hair in bright colours of blue or green or orange for no apparent reason other than it looks cool, or that one Marine who has mouse ears for some reason. The most obvious effects come when Luffy shows off his rubber skin bending ability, which feels a bit cartoonish, but I suspect the source material may be aimed at a younger audience than this live action show is. Overall, it's an absolute triumph, full of energy and wild ideas, introducing an exciting new world, and a likeable cast of characters whose adventures I'll be looking forward to following for years to come. But with all the writers and actors on strike, it could be some time before we get to Season 2. Meanwhile, there's always the manga series, which has more than 1,000 chapters so far, but it is in black and white, which is not ideal when it portrays such a colourful world. Or there's the anime, which has more than 1,000 episodes and counting, but apparently it has a lot of filler due to the episodes coming out weekly and them not wanting to get ahead of the manga story. But I'm certainly tempted to give it a try, to find out what happens next in the story. Maybe when I've finished watching all 700 episodes of Doctor Who, that could be my next marathon to embark on. Thanks for watching. Please like or subscribe if you enjoy my content, and I'll see you next time.